Hello, my name is swissbianco. In this video I will talk about titanium Swiss Army knives. I have a pretty good study collection by now, since I do work and collect with Swiss Army knife for quite some decades now, and I did think I'm gonna make a bit videos on different Swiss Army knives that I did gather up over all the decades, and I'm gonna start with this titanium Swiss Army knives. Basically we have two classic ones and a soldier, and I'm gonna show the details in a minute. Back then I was testing out different know-how. I was quite likely one of the first or the second time as I came to the blade show in USA. Back then I did learn about titanium and how to splash anodize it, to the ways how that is possible. We have to see back then internet was really small and I did not have access in Switzerland as I was stuck there, and that was all pretty much like a miracle in USA, as I did come over here and had my first table at the blade show in Atlanta, and with all the different materials and knives there, that still amaze me if I think back. It was a tough time with the money in Switzerland and all that, but it still did work out in the long run for sure pretty good, because if that would not have do so well, I would not have be in USA now and do all the work with Victorinox as I do. So that is a bit of the past. There we had a supplier in Switzerland who did supply scrap titanium. That was mainly a company that did cut, water jet cut, as best as I remember, titanium for some bigger companies, and then of course they had leftover pieces. Somehow we found that place and we got a bit scrap to test out. Again, that is long time ago. It's not like today as you go to eBay or whatever and they buy you the titanium that you need. This is mainly of a CP grade or a grade 1. It's not possible to use it for liner locks and all that. It has no spring tension, but it's a bit easier to work with in terms of grinding and drilling and all that, which back then we had no experience at all. The machine that we needed to anodize, that was basically built with information of the blade magazine back then as well. In Switzerland, such machines you could not buy. There was even a law against it to use such a high voltage machine. Again, it was pretty terrible, but we still wanted to test that out, and that's what we did. So this is the one Swiss Army knife that we did in the 93mm. It's a soldier, and as we look on the parts, we see that back then I did not have access to parts from Victorinox. I did not work together with them, so that was basically an older used knife that I fixed up. Again, I was stuck in Switzerland and it was terrible most of the time, no money and all that, but already we got the hollow rivets from Wenger. Back then Wenger was still its own company and making Swiss Army knife. It was not together with Victorinox as it came later that way. They did help me with the hollow rivets. They gave me dealer prices as well, so that is original original hollow rivet, and I still have a couple of those that were coming from a Wenger back then. That's a long time ago, and that is all history. So that's a sample, a handmade sample. This one never gonna leave me. Mr. Elsener had it in his hand as well, just to show him some of the work that I did in the past. Then we have classics, and again that is long time ago. The splash anodizing that I did of course involved in different colors and more contrast and all, but it was a start, and for back then in the late 80s, that was for sure quite a quality, especially with the tools, with the know-how that we had back then. Yeah, that brings a lot of memories back to me, and as I did say, I'm gonna make a bit of series of videos of all those Swiss Army knives that I did gather up in my study collection to share them a bit. Those are knives that I'm not gonna bring to the shows that I exhibit, so that's quite likely the only chance that you ever gonna see them. So that much about the titanium splash anodized first Swiss Army knives. Of course later we did change to aluminum. That was a different know-how that I was interested in, and Victorinox and Wenger already had aluminum scales, but that's gonna be a story for a different video.